Okay. So I know a lot of speedrunners a few months ago had a lot to really ask, but the one main question asking me was what really happened? Why was I wrongfully banned? So instead of really having to simply reply with another message, I'm simply sitting down and really having to just explain it all in a video. Now, this is about the second time in my life where I've really sat down in front of a camera and just talked. It's more than just any simple gameplay that I've been doing all throughout the 9, 10 years that I've been on this platform. But this is probably the most serious bit that I've ever just sat down and really just talked about. Now, before I actually started though, I want to let you guys know something. There's two sides to how I'm currently feeling. There's a side where I want to unleash all of this frustration and anger versus really just trying to calm myself down, really just trying to be settled. But that's all I pretty much just have to bring up. Now, on to what the main question is. Why was I actually banned? So, the day that it happened, it was simply May 2nd, which was on a Sunday. Now, the worst inconvenience about this was that it was a day before I was starting a new semester with online classes and dealing with the fact that I know that I only needed to improve my grades with a few classes here and there. And I really just wanted to try and focus on this stuff. This situation coming up out of nowhere really had just threw a monkey wrench into the process of really just having to focus on all that because I decided sit down, make this a top priority, and just try to get it resolved. I obviously care about this, and same way that I'm sitting in front of this camera, having to just talk about it, at least at the time that it happened, I wasn't able to make this video sooner, only because I was dealing with online classes, and I didn't want anybody else to get involved. I didn't want any of my family members to get involved, because obviously if they did, then it would just honestly feel weird, because I know this is about me. So I decided to just make things solely just towards myself. Just say that, okay, this is my situation and I gotta have the responsibility to deal with this myself. I can't tell anybody in my family about this. Now, during that evening of May 2nd, I was specifically, this was a few minutes before it had happened. But at the time, again, a few minutes before this had happened, I was on the site and I was simply checking out new leaderboards as I usually do. But at the time as well, I was really having to just simply refresh the page and then it just happened. Notice that my name was grayed out. That was the one main thing that caught my attention, was that my name was grayed out. As soon as I highlighted the name, it said banned, and I was in complete shock and had no words, but my heart started beating seriously fast. I was in a serious panic, and I just had felt like my anxiety just literally hit another level, like never before. Now, there's a lot that comes to mind in terms of what what was really the reason behind this and who was the person that did it. I didn't get any sort of answer, not until the following day on Monday. But a half hour later, after this situation had just showed up, I simply reached out to a full moderator about this, at least two full moderators about this, asking if there was any way that, I could simply make an unbanned request of any sort. I assumed that there was a form of this sort of thing, but apparently there isn't. So all the only situation that's given is just to make an email and send it out to the support team. Now, there's a lot that I really have to try and recollect here. But this is what I was simply told the following day. So, I had reached out to somebody that was part of not only the Sonic Speedrun community Discord, but also part of the Sonic 3 Air speedrunning community Discord about this. Asked them specifically if they knew about this situation that happened on speedrun.com. Now, what I was told from him was that he had no idea. And I might as well just not cover it up, but just might as well bring up names. A runner by the name of Huds601. Okay? I had reached out to him and I asked him if he knew about the situation. He said he had no idea, right? Then got a reply back saying, okay, been told that you should reach out to the site staff about this. Told him, already did. Then got another reply back saying, okay, have somebody from the Sonic Speedrun community reach out to me about it. Didn't hear back an answer not until that following evening. And this is where there was a lot that I seriously had to recollect and really try to remember. But as I was supposedly told from a Sonic Speedrun community Discord moderator, was that 6 years ago there was solely 2 videos. Those 2 containing 2 individual levels each. And this was specifically coming from Sonic CD 2011. Stardust Speedway Zone 1 and 2. And Metalic Madness Zone 1 and 2. Okay. And as I'm looking back at the videos, it's like I was shocked at myself, but I was mostly disappointed at the fact that it was honestly a major setback that I know I had to seriously, I know I screwed up on, and that the time that I did it, and this was in 2015 exactly, while I was still in high school, it felt like at the time that when I re-uploaded, and this is how it was simply 2 of those, those 2 videos exactly were re-uploads from another runner. Now, I want people to understand this, is that at the time that I did it, there was a few situations that were going down. Number 1, I simply didn't care as much about the channel as the way that I do. Well, specifically, I didn't care as much about the YouTube channel as much as I do now, or how I've obviously cared much more about it since 2017, up until this very point, right? Number 2, I was honestly naive. I was careless. I was irresponsible for doing this type of shit. And I hate that, honestly, I look back at this sort of thing and I really just hate that I didn't care as much, or I didn't care at all, that I did it. I hate so much, I look back at that day, or that year that I did it, that I seriously hate myself for not caring about how bad of a thing that was. And I seriously cannot tell you enough how much I hate it. It it's stuck in my head so much about how much I hated myself for doing that. And it bothers me. I just can't help it. But the thing is, I just obviously can't help but seriously apologize. That's all that I did was simply apologize, because at the time that I read this message that involved those two videos, I just couldn't help but just keep apologizing. Because obviously this has to do with me, and that I simply say that I take full responsibility for those two videos, and that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to redeem myself. I said this in the reply after those two videos were mentioned, is that speedrunning really means a lot to me. It's been probably one of the biggest impacts to me in all the years that I've been on this platform of YouTube and Twitch alike. And really just evolving more with my skills throughout the years that I've been on this platform of speedrun.com, it really means a lot to me. I don't want anybody to think like, even though this situation that occurred, that I don't care, or that, like, typically given anybody that's been in this situation, is that they're not going to care about it usually, or that they're not going to be willing to come back. I'm not like most people. I seriously have been eager to come back. I can't help it. This situation has been stuck in my mind. Like, I know I have this thing flustered, but this situation has been stuck in my mind since the day it happened. And I can't help it. There's been nights where I haven't been able to sleep as much, but especially the following 3 nights after the situation had been brought up. I haven't been able to sleep as much, haven't been able to eat as much, haven't been able to focus on classes as much. And I hate that a week later, I had to deal with 2 major tests. And I felt like I couldn't focus on those at all because of this situation. And it sucks. It seriously does. But again, I'm sitting in front of this camera on my new phone. This is what I'm recording with, because I didn't want to bother having to set this up through my, like, one of my really old laptops that has an integrated camera and a microphone on it. But I simply am sitting in front of this camera and showing you how much I seriously and deeply apologize for those 2 videos. And I seriously care about this, knowing that I still want to be able to redeem myself. Given the fact that I've still been waiting for a reply, it's all I want to do is redeem myself. That's how much I care about this. Please, though, to any of the site staff or any of the support team members, for all I know, that ever find a way to actually find this video, just want you guys to know that I seriously do care about this still. I've been waiting for 4 months, almost 4 months to be exact, to get a reply back after I had sent out an email the same day that the situation had happened. But then 2 months later, July 2nd to be exact, when I had reached out to his site staff, that I haven't gotten a reply. And so the only thing I was pretty much told about was just to send another email, which I did. And again, 2 months later, still haven't heard anything, which is a big concern, obviously. I don't know if I'm seriously the only person that's been in this situation, or like, scratch that for a bit. I don't know if I'm considered the only person that's been waiting this long, or anybody that's been in a situation like this before my situation happened has been waiting far longer than I have. I don't know anything whatsoever. But I don't want anybody that's in a situation of where they're banned, that they seriously have to wait any longer than I have to. Because, like, they rightfully should hear back from the support team before I hear back from them. I'm just still praying and hoping that I can hear back from somebody and that I can come back. That's all that I'm saying, and that's how much I seriously care about this. I cannot stop saying this. I seriously care. But this is seriously aside from the apology that I want to make, because this feels like the side that I just want to get some frustration out. And although I'm just going to try my best not to seriously just explode or any way sound like I'm pissed off, that's just how I truly feel. Now, given the way that the Sonic speedrun community moderators had insisted on having to handle this situation, is what seriously pissed me off the most. I had no clue, and I shit you not, I had no clue what they were gonna do with this simple backstab. This betrayal. Okay? I can't help but obviously look at this as a simple betrayal. And the fact that nobody on that team had insisted on reaching out to me and simply confronting me and asking me a simple question of, is this true or not? I would have been completely honest, and I would have been fine with having to answer in a completely honest way. Because that's who I am. I'm not going to lie about it. So again, it's not who I am as a person. I'm not mean-spirited. I'm not a mean person in general. I don't talk shit about people behind their backs or talk shit about them, especially when they're not in the same room. But the fact that this community solely, if not other communities that I've been really observant of over the past couple of years being on speedrun.com, seems like that's all that it is. Nobody ever insists on having to confront anybody, and this is a problem. I'm frustrated with the fact that nobody had reached out to me and talked to me about this. Nobody had ever insisted on having to reach out to me and talk to me about the thing that they noticed. I just cannot help but say that nobody has no dignity to just simply do that. Man. Oh, man. I'm really trying my best right now just to not be pissed off. Now again, can't help but feel frustrated. If you were in my shoes and you had gone through an unexpected ban and you were never told about the real reason why you were banned or who actually did it and what the real intention was, you obviously would have to feel concerned. You would obviously be curious as to what the reason was. I can't help that. Just three main questions that I still have stuck in my mind. Who was the person that did it? What was the real intention? And any given possible way that I could simply redeem myself and come back. Now again, bringing up the Sonic Speedrun community moderators, there's two people I solely have in mind that I believe had done it. But I'm not one to point fingers and assume who did this and who did that. That's not who I've ever been as a person either. But I can't help but these two names coming in mind. And I know not many runners who are either part of this Discord or not part of this Discord server know these names at all. I can't help if it was either Zergriff, the sole individual that reached out to me, told me about these two videos. Or Flying Fox. And I solely say that name because I can't help but point my finger or have the biggest leading assumption to believe that it was her. I just cannot help it. But again, no moderator reached out to me, told me the truth, simply tell me who did it, what the real intention was. I just cannot help it. Okay? I want all speedrunners to understand that this is also something that I want to be able to stand out from. I know assuming these names may be true or not. And I'm solely talking as well to the Sonic Speedrun community moderators about this. And I'm looking dead in the camera right now. I know these assumptions could obviously be wrong. But all I simply want you to do is reach out to me and talk to me about this. This is, again, I'm not mean-spirited. I'm not a mean person in general. And I seriously mean that. All I want is to be able to talk things out. I don't want there to be any sort of tension. I don't want there to be, just any sort of awkward bits or any moments. I just want to be able to talk things out. I want to be able to clear things through and just get this resolved. I've been so eager to come back, and then I'm not even kidding. To this day, I still happen to still do speedrunning because I seriously do care about this. But all I want is to just talk things out, and I truly mean that. I cannot express how much I apologize for the situation or the videos that had been brought up 6 years ago, and I truly mean that. And being completely blunt with myself, I was a complete idiot for re-uploading those videos, and I seriously mean that. But every day since that day, the situation that happened, it's been on my mind like crazy. That's all I keep hoping and praying for, is to come back, redeem myself. I seriously mean this. And I want every speedrunner that ever sees this reaction video, or me responding to this, understand that I seriously care about this and that I'm seriously praying to come back. I seriously mean this. But I also want to apologize for how much I'm saying seriously, because it's just, I just want to be able to explain or just get out some of this frustration in me. But again, this is also something I want to bring up, because I couldn't help but look at last night as I was on the site, because I've never seen the support hub thing before, and as I'm seriously on here, it's the one thing I'm seriously concerned about. Why have a report a user section as part of the support hub when this is a clear reason or a clear notice of how people are simply not going to just confront anybody about anything, but when they could simply just do something like this? That's just going to bring tension into so many things. And given the situation that I'm in, obviously I believe that these moderators are not trustworthy. Again, I'm not one to assume or be mean-spirited. But given in a situation like this, I just can't help it. I just can't help it. Again, it wasn't easy for me to simply sit down and make this video, because there's a lot running through my mind. I don't want my heart to start pumping fast again, but I want everybody to know that I seriously care, and that I truly want to redeem myself and come back. So I still am doing speedrunning. I got so much in my tank that I refuse to give up. Anything that I've ever put my mind to, especially speedrunning, I just can't see myself stopping. I don't know how to stop. Stop is literally the word that I use to just fuel more fire in me. Not being any sort of guy to just simply give up, especially with a situation like this. I'm just not that guy. But look, I know that this is at least me trying my best to at least explain a lot. And again, just trying to put out a lot of those pent up frustrations into this video. But that's all I want. Just to put it into context, I just want to talk. I don't want there to be any tension. And the assumptions of those two moderators that I had brought up earlier, I want you to understand where I'm coming from and how me assuming those two names, I just can't help but point my finger on it. I really can't help it. Now, whether a lot of people know these runners or not, I'm just not that person to assume anything. And I get it. Way I had to assume those two names, I could be right, I could be wrong. But that's all I want to be able to do is talk things out. And I cannot express to you how sorry I am about those two videos that had been brought up 6 years ago. Every single speedrun that you have seen from me has been in fact my own. And those two videos alone were a major mistake. But I keep praying every day that I just want to be able to come back. I want to keep praying that I want to be able to hear back from somebody. Now, whether the few individuals that I happen to reach out to and send this response video to, I want you guys to send this out to as many other runners on the platform. Have them respond to this. If not, have their saying on how they feel about it. Now again, given whether they know about it or not, I just want you guys to know that I seriously apologize. And that I am willing to do whatever it takes to come back. It's all that I want. And for that, if at some point that I do hear back from somebody, I want to be able to at least make another response video like this and just want to express how thankful I am to just be able to come back and speedrun. Because I care so much about this. But yes, anyways, I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what the moderators think. I want to know what the site staff thinks. And I especially want to know what the support team thinks. So whether anybody happens to reach out to the site staff and send this response video to them, I just want them to know that I seriously care. And that I am praying to know what it takes to just come back.